Hello everyone, I'm Anurag and we'll be dealing with the numerical parts of Operation Management 2 course. First of all, we're dealing with project management. A brief description of what a project exactly is. A project is something which has certain amount of, which has less standardization. It has high customization. It can be customized according to the needs of your customers, and generally the product volume in case of a project is very less. Okay. Now the first type is the critical path method. Now critical path is something in which a sequence of activities are there in a project that form the longest chain in terms of their time to complete, but the shortest time to complete the projects. So we'll be listing in case of our network diagram, we'll simply identify that path which takes the longest time to complete, and that will be our critical path. Referring to the question number 11 of page number 129 of your textbook, this is the kind of question, these are the kind of questions which we've already done in the Operation Management 1 course, so it will be pretty simple to understand. Now, this question says that certain 10 activities are listed, immediate predecessors are mentioned of these activities, and time taken by each activity is also mentioned in weeks. Firstly, we have to draw the network diagram. I've already done this here. Uh, you see the first activity, there is no, there is no predecessor to the first activity, so we'll simply write 1 here. Then 2 again has 1, 3 has 1, and 4 has 1 as its predecessor. So we'll simply write 2, 3 and 4, which will be preceded by 1. And in a similar manner, we'll write 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Below this, we'll write the time taken by each to complete, each task to complete. This is 4, 2, 4, 3, 5, 6, 2, and so on and so forth. These are in weeks. Now I'll be listing the various possible paths and also the time taken to complete each and every time taken, the total time to taken in each and every path. Now first is 1, 2, 5, 8 and 10. That takes approximately 21 weeks. We'll simply adding these the time that is allotted to each activity. Then 1, 3, 5, 8, 10 is the second part, taking 23 weeks to complete. 1, 3, 6, 9 and 10 taking 26 weeks to complete, and 1, 4, 7, 9 and 10 taking 21 weeks to complete. Out of these, the the path C, which is 1, 3, 6, 9 and 10 takes the highest time, that is 26 weeks to complete. Now this is our critical path. The time taken by the path which takes the path which takes the highest time to complete is our critical path. This ends up first two questions. First is drawing the network diagram and finding the critical path. Now option C, the question number C is basically deals with cost cutting by decreasing the question number C here deals with project crashing, which will be dealt with in much more details in our next question. So we'll skip this for now. The second type is the time cost model and project crashing. Crashing basically refers to compression or shortening of time taken to complete the project. Now this is achieved by reducing the time taken by each activity carefully. It has a certain amount of analysis involved, and the reduction in time taken by these activities have cost implications. We'll be discussing all these aspects through the question number 13, which is given on page number 129. Now, a network diagram is already provided in this question. In brackets, the time taken to complete each and every activity is provided. We have to proceed in a similar manner because the first question says find the critical path. We just have to simply list down the different paths that we can take for reaching A to G, and again we have to find out the maximum time taken by a certain path, which will be our critical path. This I've done here. Uh, I've listed the different parts here, as you can see. First is A, C, D, F, G, which takes 25. A, C, D, E, G, which takes 23. A, B, D, F, and G taking 24. And A, B, D, E, G taking 22 weeks, right? Out of which the first path is the highest, right? So this will be our critical path. Now this is a very straightforward method to calculate the critical path. Suppose that we're given a complex network, something which which is very difficult to ascertain which path to go about. In that case, we'll follow another method. Now this involves two things. One is the forward pass computation and another is the backward pass computation. Again, this involves two things. First is the early start and early finish. This is pretty simple. Uh, Now first activity, as you can see, is A. It takes 7 days to complete. So we can say that it starts off at 0 and ends at 7, right? Then we go to activity B. It takes 3 days to complete. So we can say that it starts off at 7 and ends at 7 plus 3 10. Now in this case, the early start is 0 and early finish is 7. In B's case, early start is 7 and early finish is 10. Again, in this case, C, it takes 4 weeks to complete and it will start off as soon as A finishes. So it starts off at 7 and ends at 7 plus 4, 11. Right? Now, here's the catch. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, by mistake I was referring to this part. Forget this part as of now. Just focus on the things which are written above these activities, right? So early start and early finish is what we'll be focusing upon as of now. So as I said, C starts off, ends off at 7 and C would start immediately after A ends and it takes 4 weeks to complete. So C would be 7 to 11. Early start for C would be 7 and early finish would be 11. Now, the catch is that E B basically finishes off on the 10th day, but C finishes on the 11th day. Now since D is dependent on both B and C to start off, it won't start till C finishes, which makes sense. If it does not make sense to you, you can simply keep in mind that as whenever forward pass computation is concerned, you'll take the maximum of the alternatives, right? This is generalized. So we'll take, so D would start off at 11 and since it takes 5 weeks to complete, it'll finish off at 16. So early start for D is 11 and early finish is 16. Again, F will start off at 16 and end at 20, and E, again taking 2, would start off at 16 and end at 18. And finally, again we have this thing. Since F finishes off on the 20th day and E finishes off just on the 18th day, we'll definitely wait till F to complete. So G will start as soon as F finishes since it's dependent on both. So G would start off on the 20th day and finally end on 20 plus 5, 25th day. So this is our forward pass computation is completed. Now we'll be dealing with the backward pass computation. Now this involves the concept of late start and late finish. How does that happen? G is finishing off on the 25th day. So we can say that the late finish for G is on the 25th day. So this we write as 25. We'll simply do a back calculation from here. G is again 5. It takes 5 days to complete. So late start for G would be 20. So 20 to 25. Then again F and E are there. E takes 2 days to complete. So and again late start for G would be the late finish for E. So both of these would be same. So this would be 20. E taking 2 days to complete. We'll do a back calculation and go till 18. And F takes 4 days to complete. So we'll do a back calculation, go till 16. So late start and for F is 16 and late finish for F is 20. Now again we have a catch. Here we see that the catch is that E late start is 18, late finish is 20. F late start is 16, late finish is 20. We have to definitely wait till F reaches the 16th point to carry on, which means that on generalizing, as far as the backward pass computation is concerned, we have to pick up the minimum of the alternatives, right? So D late finish would be 16 and not 18. So we'll take 16 here and again we'll subtract 5 from here. So late start for D would be 11. Now B and C are both originating from D. So basically we'll see that 11 would come here. So late finish of C would be same as late start of D. So 11 and subtracting 4 from here we'll come to 7. Similarly यहाँ पे 11 is here. We subtract 3 and we come to 8, right? Now again we have that same catch, 8 11 and 7 11. We'll choose the minimum of these two So 7 would come here, and so A's late finish would be 7, and finally we subtract 7 from here, so late start would be 0. Now wherever we see that there is a difference, suppose here 2025 both are same, late start late finish, early start early finish are same. Whenever we see that there is a difference, like in this case 16 18 18 20, so there's a slack of 2, so we simply write slack is equal to 2 days. Here there is no slack. 11 16 11 16 no slack. 7 11 7 11 no slack. Again here there is a slack of 1. 7 10 8 11. So we write slack of 1 day. Now the critical path is that path which does not have any slack in its path, right? So we'll simply proceed in a way which we does not touch any activity which has slack. So we'll move from A, we won't definitely won't go to B because it has a slack. We'll move from A to C, we'll move from A to C, then C to D, D to F and G. So A, C, D, F, G is our critical path which can be verified from our previous result, which was A, C, D, F, G. So this is another method to calculate critical path. It is a little time consuming. It is advised that we follow the conventional method, but just in case the network diagram appears to be complex, it is advised that you follow this method. I hope it's clear. To the B part, it says that the following table shows normal times and crash times along with associated cost for each activity. The table is provided on the next page. This is a table. Various activities are listed. Normal time to complete the activity is listed. Crash time is listed. The normal cost is listed, and the crash cost is listed. Sorry. Now we have to do is we have to calculate the cost of expediting, which is nothing but CC minus NC divided by NT minus CT. CC is crash cost minus normal cost divided by normal time by crash time. We do this and we form another column. I listed it here. We do this and this is what we've calculated. Now this is our cost of expediting, right? This cost of expediting is given per day. It simply means that if you want to reduce a certain activity by 1 day, suppose A takes 7 days, right, to complete. If you want A to complete in 6 days, what is the implication it has on the cost? That is your cost of expediting, right? So we've listed various costs of expediting and we have to now calculate whatever is given in the whatever is asked in the question. The question says if the project is to be shortened by 4 days, show which activities in order of reduction would be shortened and the resulting cost, right? So we just have to identify out of these हम कौन सी activities हैं जो हम कम कर सकते हैं और जिसमें हमारा जो cost है वो भी सबसे कम पड़े, ठीक है? इसके लिए हम will again refer to a critical path. We have A, C, D, F, G. Now there are two conditions. One, that your activity has to be part of the critical path. That is the necessary condition. And sufficient condition is that it basically has to have the least cost. So we'll simply take those costs, we'll give preferences to those activities first, which involve the least cost of expediting, right? So we'll in our critical path, the first activity is A, and coincidentally A also happens to be that activity which has the least cost of 1000. So we'll take A first and we'll reduce it by 1 day. So wherever A is there, the paths would have a reduction of 1 day. That is, the total time would be reduced by 1 day. So A is here, 25 would become 24. A is here, 23 would become 22. A is here, it will become 24, will become 23, and A is here, so it will become 21. Next we see that in our critical path it's C. But is C the next least cost? It is. So it's 1200. So we'll definitely take C next and we'll reduce it by 1. So this would become 23. This would again become 21 and C is not there in either of these two cases. So this will remain as it is, that is 23 and 21. Now we'll see that 23 is coming in two cases. So we have two critical paths now. Out of these, we'll see the common elements that we have, that is D, F, G, D, F, G. We'll see which of these elements has the least cost and we'll reduce that first. Now in this case, G is 3000, so we'll forget about that. D and F both have costs of 1500. But so we can choose either of those. We can choose either of those. That is, we can choose 1F or 1D. But for simplicity, we're choosing two Fs, right? So we reduce this entire thing twice. That is, wherever F is there, those activities will reduce twice. So here it was 23. This reduction by 1, so this becomes 22. This has no F, so it will remain as it is, that is 21. A, B, D, F, G, F is there. 23 becomes 22. And here again there is no F, so it remains 21. Similarly, again these two would reduce by 1, so they become 21 each. So we have successfully managed to reduce our critical path by the time taken to complete the entire project by 4, that is from 25 to 21. It's just a mere coincidence that all these have become 21. It's not necessary that this has to be there. Our main purpose was to reduce the critical path by 4, and that's what we've done. And we've successfully achieved that. Now, as far as the cost implication part is concerned, it's pretty simple to compute it. Basically, we have to figure out what all activities we have reduced, and we have to see फ्रॉम आर एक्सपीडिटिंग कॉस्ट की एक बार रिड्यूस करने के लिए आपको कितना कॉस्ट भरना पड़ता है। तो एक आप देखिए कॉस्ट इम्प्लीकेशन, ए को आपने एक बार कम करा है, 1000 रुपये है क्योंकि उसका कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्सपीडिटिंग ए का 1000 है। आपका सी एक बार कम किया, वो 1200 है। एफ इज 1500 bucks, and again we to choose F, so it's another 1500 bucks. So the total entire cost of expediting comes out to be 5200, which completes our question. Now, just let's look at another type of question which is given. It's given on page number 132. This question 18. Here, basically, we were dealing with one cost, that is a direct cost. Here, the concept of indirect cost has come into play. It's nothing but they have listed key if your project gets completed in 18 weeks, you have to pay an indirect cost of $400. 17 वीक में 350 देना है आपको, और 16 वीक में कंप्लीट हो गया तो आपको 300 देना है। इसका मतलब ये है कि प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट होने का मतलब क्या है, योर क्रिटिकल पाथ है दैट द ड्यूरेशन ऑफ योर क्रिटिकल पाथ इज 18 वीक्स। नाउ I'm not showing the entire solution because it will be repetitive. I'll just show you the part where the total cost has been calculated. Here our critical path was AVEG, which comes out to be 18. Now our critical path in this case is 18. So basically this is what we choose, and when we find out the total cost, we sum up all these. This comes out to be 500, right? Now, since it's 18, it falls under this slab of our indirect cost. So when we find out the entire cost of the project, we have to add this cost, summation of the normal cost plus the indirect cost as well. So it'll be 500 plus 400, 900. Now again, this question also asks about expediting, as we have done before. Here we have we have tried a few combinations. So first, if we reduce A, then we're reducing A by 1, it increases this cost to 570 and 20, I'm sorry, but the duration of the project becomes 17 weeks, right? So it's reduced by 1. 17 weeks का मतलब क्या हो गया, अब आप इस स्लैब में आ जाओगे 350 वाले, तो आप 400 की जगह 350 ऐड करोगे, सो इट बी सो अब 17 वीक्स हो गया प्रोजेक्ट। 17 वीक्स के हिसाब से आप किताब में देखो 350 दिया हुआ इंडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट, तो अब 520 प्लस 350 आप ऐड करोगे। अब उसके बाद क्या है, फिर से हमने ई को 1 से कम करा, 17 की जगह 16 वीक हो गया, तो 16 वीक का इंडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट 300 दिया हुआ है, पर हमारा ई का भी 30 रुपये लगेगा, तो ये 550 हो गया, तो टोटल हो गया 850। इसी तरह आप कंटिन्यू करोगे, आपको इसमें कुछ नहीं करना है, नॉर्मल कॉस्ट जो है वो सारे ऐड कर लो आप, और जितने भी आपके इनडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट दिए हुए हैं वो जिस जिस स्लैब में आ रहा है, यानी कि आपके प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीशन के जिस स्लैब में वो पहुंच रहा है, उसके हिसाब से आप इनडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट एलोकेट करो और ऐड कर दो। तो अगर इस टाइप का सम आएगा तो आप इसमें ये वाला प्रोसीजर लगा सकते हो। थैंक यू। नाउ the final type is PERT, which is Project Evaluation Review Technique. Now this is used to deal with uncertain time estimates. It has three basic time estimates. One is the optimistic time estimate, pessimistic time estimate, and the most likely time estimates. Let's understand this through an example. Please refer to page number 128, the 10th question. In this question, you can see 11 jobs are mentioned. Similar manner, the predecessor jobs are mentioned, and there are three types of times given: A, M, and B. A is called as optimistic, M is called as most likely, and B is called as pessimistic. Now, how do you identify these times as optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely? Optimistic, you'll find each and every element is less than the elements in the respective rows. For example, 2 is less than 3, 4, 1 you can see is less than 2, 3, 4, 5 and 12 से कम है, 3, 4 और 11 से कम है. ऐसे करते हुए ये सबसे सारे एलिमेंट्स जो हैं वो बाकियों से कम है. जब आप बी में आओगे तो आप देखोगे कि each and every element is greater than the elements in the corresponding rows, like 4 is greater than 3 and 2, 9 is greater than 8 and 1, 6 is greater than 4 and 2, 12 4 and 2, and so on and so forth. And the final, that is the most likely one, is lying somewhere in between. So you can see 3 2 5 and so on and so forth. Now the first thing which we will do here is we'll calculate the expected time, that is TE. Expected time is A plus B plus 4 times M divided by 6, right? So expected time through this comes out, we calculate the expected time for each and every column. For example, you take the first, sorry, each and every row. For example, you take this one, you do A plus B plus 4M divided by 6. So A plus B यानी कि 2 plus 4 6 divide plus 3 into 4 यानी कि 12. So 18 divided by 6, which comes out to be 3. So which comes out to be 3. This is the formula which we use. So the expected time in the first case is 3. In the similar manner, you calculate the expected time for each and every case. अब ये जो आपका आया है ना, ये आपका वो प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीशन टाइम की तरह आप इसको ट्रीट कर सकते हैं. इसको आप, ये जो आपका आया है उसको आप हर एक्टिविटी का कंप्लीशन टाइम की तरह आप इसे ट्रीट कर सकते हैं. तो ये आपने लिस्ट आउट किया. इन अ सिमिलर मैनर एज वी हैव डन previously, I'm not going to spend time on making the network diagram again. Just make a network diagram in a similar manner. List out all the critical paths here, all the paths, and then identify the critical path. Here I've listed out 3 paths: 1 2 5 8 9 1, 1 3 6 8 9 11, and 1 4 7 10 11. Here in this case 1 3 6 8 9 11 is the critical path which is taking the highest time, that is 26.83, right? We've already dealt with questions A, B, and C. A was constructing the network diagram, B was indicating the critical path, and C is the expected completion time for the project. Now we'll come back to D. First of all, let's deal with E. E says, what is the probability that the project will take more than 30 days to complete? First of all, let me take you through two important formulas. First is the formula for variance. Variance का formula इस केस में होता है B minus A divided by 6 और entire thing whole square. B क्या है आपका जो pessimistic टाइम है, A है आपका optimistic टाइम and divided by 6. Again you have to calculate this for each and every row, right? You put the values and calculate the variance for each and every row, right? This is your variance. And as far as this question is concerned, यहाँ पे क्या कह रहा है हमें, probability that the project will take more than 30 days to complete. Now the probability of completing within time t1 is basically z is t1 minus te divided by the root over of summation variance at critical paths only, right? t1 यहाँ पे जो आपको क्वेश्चन में पूछा गया है वो है जो कि 30 दिन है, ठीक है. TE आपका एक्सपेक्टेड टाइम टू कंप्लीट इंटायर प्रोजेक्ट है जो कि 26.83 है. एंड फाइनली जो आप रूट के अंदर डालोगे वो वेरिएंस का सम करना है आपको, जो कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ क्रिटिकल पाथ में लाई करता है. क्रिटिकल पाथ अपना क्या निकला? Our critical path is basically 1, 3, 6, 8, 9 and 11. So we'll identify the variance for these parts only, which includes 0.11 plus 1.28 plus 0.11 again plus आपका ये 8 पे 0.44 plus 2.28 and finally 11वें पे आप 0.25 आएगा. तो इनका आप जब सम करोगे तो वो सम आएगा इक्वल टू 5.47, ठीक है. So the entire value comes out to be 1.37. Now this is Z. This is a Z value. As we've referred to Z tables previously in our QTM1 course and various other courses. So we just have to find out, we have to refer to the Z table. The Z table is provided on your book, page number 908, and you can refer to the Z table, look up this value of 1.37 and compute the corresponding probability, which comes out to be 0.92. So this gives, in this question, something which is worth mentioning is that this project आपको उस चीज की probability निकालनी है which will take more than 30 days to complete. As far as the formula is concerned, this is the probability of completing within 30 days. What you need is the probability of completing beyond 30 days. That's something, the probability which will take more than 30 days. So we found out 0.92. More than 30 days probability would be 1 minus 0.92, which is nothing but 0.08. So this is your answer. Do not make the silly mistake. Do read the question properly. Finally, coming to the D part, here it's saying that you can accomplish any one of the following at an additional cost of $1,500. इसमें क्या है, आपको ये कह रहे हैं either reduce job 5 by 2 days, reduce job 3 by 2 days, or reduce job 7 by 2 days. If you will save 1000 for each day that the earliest completion time is reduced, which action if any would you choose? Now you are incurring a cost of 1500 days for reducing. The additional cost that is involved is 1500 per day per option, that is reducing every option. अगर आप ये employ करते हो तो आपको 1500 रुपये लगेंगे. And if you manage to reduce your critical path का जो time है, that is project completion time, by 1 day, you save $1000, right? So you have to see if it's possible, if it's cost beneficial or not, to basically we have to achieve a trade-off between these two. Now we have already computed our critical path, which is 26.83. We definitely, as we've mentioned before, कॉस्ट कटिंग के लिए जो नेसेसरी कंडीशन होती है, आप इन्हीं में से कोई एक एलिमेंट में छेड़छाड़ कर सकते हो, इन्हीं में से आप कुछ कम कर सकते हो और बाकी में से नहीं कर सकते हो. ठीक है, तो आपका पहला ऑप्शन क्या कह रहा है, रिड्यूस जॉब 5 by 2 days. Since job 5 is not lying in the critical path of 26.83, we would completely discard it. अगर आप ऐसे देखना चाहो तो जॉब 5 कहाँ लाई करता है, यहाँ पे, यहाँ ऑलरेडी 17 डेज ले रहा है, ये एक बार आप कम करोगे तो 16. अब there's one more thing which is worth noticing is reduce job 5 by 2 days बोला है. It's not possible that you reduce it just by 1 day. You have to take the entire package. You have to reduce it by 2 days only. You can't reduce it just by 1 day. So coming to this, critical path is 17 days. So once you reduce the job 5, it'll come down to 16 and then it'll go to 15. But it doesn't really impact because our critical path remains the same, that is 26.83. So we are not achieving any cost benefits. Second option is reducing job 3 by 2 days. Now job 3 is lying in our critical paths. So if we reduce 26.83 say by 2 days, what we are achieving, we go to 25.83 once we reduce and then we go to 24.83. पर आप ये देखो यहाँ पे जो है, जैसे ही आप एक दिन से रिमूव करते हो 25.83 यहाँ भी आ जाता है. तो अगर आप यहाँ पे पहुंच भी जाते हो 24.83 तक, the critical path becomes the third one because now this is 25.83. So how much are you exactly paying for the third option? You're paying $1,500 to implement this option, but you're gaining just 1000, right? So there's a loss of 500. Why would we incur loss? So we abandon this option as well. And finally, reduce job 7 by 2 days. Again, job 7 does not lie on our critical path, so we would completely discard it. This means that we analyzing all the three options, it's not cost beneficial to reduce them, so we would discard all the three options, right? That's it. So with this we have managed to complete almost all the important questions that could be asked as far as the numericals are concerned. There are few questions in the chapter of Six Sigma, but they are relatively simple, and I hope that you guys will manage that on your own. Thank you and all the best.